Comrades, so first I want to start with just trying to give a little bit of a political analysis, right? And I want to continue on what the previous speakers, including the introduction of today's session, I want to build up on that. So I'm not going to repeat what has been said. I'm taking it forward. Comrades, we know maybe 50, 70, 100, 200 years ago, the primary agents for activism were trade unions and the issue of employment. That's where the primary agents of activism was. Today, it's no longer the case. Our trade unions are no longer functioning. The primary agents today for activism is the issue of access to land and access for housing. If we look at the stats, out of 10, just to put a number, out of 10 protests that happen, 8 of them are on the issue of land, housing, services. Maybe you get a queer here, you get a political party here, you get employment there, but the basis of protest has become the issue of housing. Also, to top that on, when we look at changing society, we always first start with the issue that we must change the economic structure of the country or of the system. We never look at that we must develop, we must empower, we must conscientize the people who are supposed to be living in this new economy. We can change now and redistribute, and everyone must get a little piece of the pie in South Africa. But because internally we have already adopted a capitalist system, we'll just go back to it. Even if we change the government tomorrow and you put Kenneth as the president, I'll just become the next Ramaphosa. I'll become rich. And people will remain poor. But if we empower, we develop, and we conscientize people, there is no one, no matter who that leader is, who will be able to overcome the power of the people. Thirdly, occupations today. Occupations are providing us with a little bit of a glimpse into the future. One, occupations is the exercise of agency of people. When people take a building, when people take land, people are exercising their power to say that enough is enough. We are not going to wait. We're going to do this now. But these occupations as well, they must be coupled with social cooperatives. We must start building this future that we are fighting for today. We can't start tomorrow to build a future. It must begin today. We must build entities, comrade Wiser, so that basic services cannot be outsourced to the very same private companies that are for profit and not for servicing people. If occupations had social cooperatives or entities that could, just for an example, provide basic services. Number one, that would mean that the community becomes sustainable in and of itself, self-sufficiency. Also, it means that we are providing the services for ourselves, which means that it gives a better quality of the services that we want. That's just a small political analysis. Coalitions, political parties. Where are our coalitions coming? We know that it's not the political parties that won this liberation and democracy we have today. It was a coalition between civic movements and grassroots movements and communities. It was called the United Democratic Front. Where is our coalition today? Right now we are trying to build this thing of a movement of movements. Because also, comrades, we know since 1994, politically, we have been.
You turned yourself up.
Let me just finish. This is my last point. Let me just finish this point. I'm on the last one. Because I wanted to go slow so that it lands. Yeah. We also know 1994, we were politically demobilized. All the formations before apartheid were disbanded. We are also, because we struggle every day for the same things and nothing is changing, we are politically demoralized. People don't see a need in building organization and fighting anymore, because for what? Right, comrade-wise. But, comrades, if we can come together, we can even task the NGOs, so that the NGOs, it's not a matter of Mfunukwazi calls us today to a workshop about land and housing, and then tomorrow MBC calls us to another workshop on land and housing. But yet it's the same people that are being organized. So we must even task the NGOs that talk among yourselves and come with a program for the people that can take the struggle of people forward. My last point, we only have ourselves to depend on, comrades. If we're going to vote 29th of March, we might be voting tactically, we might be voting strategically, but it's not dependency on the political parties. The only people we should and that we can depend on is ourselves. Thank you, comrades.